everyone. It's just me today, and I feel like that is a very exciting move for me because, in case you didn't know, I've been holding back on starting this podcast for a very long time. So let's start from the beginning. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my new podcast, Certified Yappers. And this podcast is honestly just a place for me to yap about sports and also about the things that are going on with me through Team NBS Media, because obviously Joe, my ride or die, has given me the platform to do all the things that I have done in my career with Team NBS Media. So we're going to start off my first episode talking about just some fun things that have happened in the NFL. Obviously, week 5 was a crazy one. It was also hard for Raider fans. And it's a crazy world for me because I'm a Raider fan who also was at Oregon when Chip Kelly was there. So I have seen an outstanding offense with Chip Kelly. This is not it right now. The Raiders they're known to be bad, right? Like, this is not new news for us, but like bringing in Geno was supposed to be our shining light, our changing like movement. And same with Pete Carroll, right? The two of them together was supposed to be, just like old friends making waves, doing good things together. And then you throw in Chip Kelly to the mix, who I don't know if he's had the best success when he's been in the NFL, but he had success in college. He knows ball. Yeah, the Raiders just don't have that kind of offense. Like, they really are playing with a bunch of guys that nobody knows who they are. And instead of Geno doing okay, like he did in Seattle, the poor guy is struggling more and more. And literally, Pete Carroll said to the media this week, I can't just blame it all on Geno. Like, we need Chip Kelly to change the play calls. And it's true. Why do you draft an amazing rookie running back? And we're still looking at the same Raider game every day in and day out. You know who the Raiders play this week? Tennessee. Like, why does that feel like that game could be close? I don't like that. But if you know me, I'm always rooting for a rookie a rookie quarterback. I always root for rookies because they end up at the worst teams and they need to make a name for themselves. And that's a tough spot to be in. But this week, I'm not rooting for you, Cam. I'm so sorry. I need to see the Raiders make some type of change, turn things around for themselves, like just a flash of, okay, it's week 6. We're getting things moving. Like, we have an idea of what we need to do, And, sorry, my mic wasn't even connected. See, I was like not ready for this. Yeah, so I think to all the Raider fans out there that are watching, I'm with you. It's been tough. Is this duo going to be able to clean things up in this season? Hopefully. Is Geno the solution? I have no idea. I actually have a stat that I want to put on the banner here so that everybody can see just how hard it is for them Niners right now. I mean, the Raiders. Oops, sorry, wrong team. All right. Geno Smith's 9 interception, which he had 2 on Sunday, are the most by any Raiders QB in the team's first 5 games of the season since Jim Plunkett in 1982. I'm going to be for real. I obviously wasn't watching the Raiders back then because I wasn't born. But whenever you join a team and you join a franchise, your stats live in that franchise. And so now Geno has this stat associated to him and associated to like how he plays as a quarterback with this team that hasn't made this many mistakes since 1982. I mean, like, we had bad QBs, but this is tough, Geno, Hopefully they can right the ship against Tennessee this weekend. But I'm not holding my breath on that. I'm really not. All right. If you're new, hi, welcome to Team NBS Media. My name is Ashmere, certified Yappers, the podcast for everyone, where I just yap because that's the new word of the century is yapping. And I feel like it makes sense. When you're on a podcast by yourself, you're literally yapping. I'm just trying to think, do I have anything else to say on the Raiders? I don't really want to because I feel like it's just negative. Fourth straight loss. The team's banged up. A lot of teams are banged up, but it just feels like this is the same story we've seen day in and day out for Raider Nation. And I'm not going to a Raider game until they win 5 games in a row. You know what I mean? You're not flying out to Vegas, spending $1,000, gambling, drinking, partying, just to go there and see the Raiders get totally beat down. I don't know how many people that are watching have gone to a Raider game as a Raider fan. I salute you. If you were there when Derek Carr was there, that was probably more fun because Devontae Adams was there. And sorry, it makes me emotional. Just that they're not together and Derek Carr is literally out of the league because of all of the chaos that happened when he was leaving the silver and black. But yeah, I think the Raiders have a lot of work to do. This season it's still hard, but I feel like when you bring in Pete Carroll, who seems like such a driven, hardball guy, and it's still the same story. Where's the problem here? I mean, we know where the problem is, but how can Pete Carroll just come in and clean up years worth of problems? That's just not his job, All right, next up, I'm just going to talk about the Week 5 headlines because these games were insane. I think football is starting to get its rhythm. Everyone is playing, firing on all cylinders, and these weeks were fun. And it was like a fantasy showdown. Wait, hold on. I need to pull up my phone because I need to reference this. Every single Boo Boo Bowl game, which is what I called the morning games on Sunday, people had insane points because the matchups were just you're playing terribly. These two teams that were playing, excluding Detroit and the Lions, everybody else had the opportunity to literally go off. The Bucs game and the Seattle game, we know that was going to go head for head. When it's Baker Mayfield, we already know what's going to happen there. All right. Let's talk about the Week 5 recap. Stephon Diggs, Cardi B's baby daddy, went in, told everyone that he has so much love for the Bills, and then he crushed them. Literally took over in that game. I was sitting here thinking, what injury, bro? What injury is Stephon Diggs coming back from? Because he looks amazing out there. Whatever relationship him and Drake may have is on fire. And he showed that at the Whiteout game, possibly the last Sunday Night Football game for Bills fans there. I mean, Stephon Diggs is he really showed that he's still that guy, and with a young quarterback that is trying to figure things out, I feel like this is kind of a match made in heaven. The Patriots have a good building block set up for them. Drake May showed that he is not going to lose anymore, right? Last year, he was like, bro, I'm putting this on my shoulders. I don't want to be in the losing bracket. And then you go against Josh Allen in his home and make a huge drive just to score, lead to the win. I feel like that was just a testament of who Drake May is. He was had it under there, right? First year, rookie year. You have no idea what's going on. Then you get Stephon Diggs in there, one of the best wide receivers. And he's like, bro, I know everything about these people. I know how they work. I know their flaws. I know their successes. I am the best cheat code you could have. And he really was. He was really that guy the entire game. The Cardinals game was so messy. Why did the Cardinals defense look like they had no hands? All of a sudden, the ball's going everywhere. No one can catch it, and then we land in the end zone. That was insane. And that, I feel like the Cardinals were showing that they had the potential to be a contender in a very difficult division. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that anymore. But you know who I'm happy for? Marvin Harrison. Like, I don't ask me why, but I drafted him in fantasy like pretty early. Like literally the word reach was tattooed on my forehead when I did that. And just to see him do what he did in week 4, like finally come back to life, I was like, oh my gosh, thank God I was gonna have to deal him away to somebody to get another wide receiver and save myself. But I'm glad that they're two clicking, but the defense that's just, I don't even know if there's many words to say except for embarrassing. Like, it's tough to watch. And then you see the coach on the sideline, like hitting the players because they're fumbling the ball. It's just like, what's happening in Arizona? Like, what is happening here? I don't even understand how the Cardinals PR let that get released, right? Like, oh, the coach is beating up one of the players. Whatever, we're not gonna tell the people who filmed that to take it down or have it removed anywhere. That was crazy work. It just shows, like, sure, new head coach, he's passionate, whatever. This team was doing really well. And like I said, I'm rooting for rookie QBs. So I was happy Cam Ward got the win, but like, that doesn't make your defense look good in a really tough division. And I put Jonathan Taylor here just because he's single-handedly saving my fantasy team. Like 31 points against you know who, the Raiders. Thank you. Thank you. It was ugly to watch as a fan, but in the moment of a fantasy win, I was really grateful. So Jonathan Taylor, this Colts offense, Daniel Jones, it felt like he's revived this team, and it's felt like, well, sure, Daniel Jones throwing the ball is always a little wishy-washy, but when you have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, you can do no wrong. And they have been doing so well, especially Jonathan Taylor. I mean, like, you just know he's getting the ball no matter what. And guess who they're facing? I had to remind myself. Guess who they're facing this week? This crazy Cardinals defense. So I can expect it to look kind of like that. Kind of like this picture right here. Confusing. Very confusing. And this is going to be a tough matchup. They're playing at home, doing phenomenally right now. And coming off of a crazy Cardinals loss like that, I'm sure their one focus is locking up Jonathan Taylor. Is that possible? I don't know. I don't really think so. I think the way the Colts look right now, they're putting up a fight. And that Rams game that gave them their one loss, like, they played till the end. It wasn't just like they got blown out. It was the possibility of scoring 2 touchdowns for the win. So this team is looking good. And finally, I don't understand why no one is talking about the fact that Mac Jones saw a dead body, went out to LA, and totally took over and beat the Rams. Like, they touched on it a little bit. Oh, Mac Jones saw a dead body. That's crazy work. Like, can you imagine? You're getting ready for game day. You're getting ready for school. You're getting ready for anything. And you see a dead body on your balcony in the Bay. And he just had to be like, hey guys, I'm a football player and I saw this dead body. And the cops show up and everybody's going to the game as if there's nothing to worry about. I feel like I would be very shook up. And Mac Jones went out there. I saw a tweet when everyone was like, Mac Jones seeing ghosts. And I was like, why? He's playing fine. I think he's playing really well. And now I get it. But the fact that Mac Jones gets another chance to play this weekend. Who are they playing? I'm going to have to print these out next time. Since this is my first episode, this is my learning experience. But I used to, if you're not new to NBS, I used to film recaps and post them on YouTube for Team NBS. That's how I started, because I was like, I really want to get the traction going. And then we started moving the chains and everything. So Let me go back to Mac Jones. Mac Jones, great job. They're playing Tampa Bay. I feel like that game's always fun. Niners versus Tampa is always a fun matchup. And then, of course, Trevor Lawrence trips on his lineman. They step on each other. He falls down, gets back up, beats the Chiefs. And as a Raider fan, you can obviously assume that I was rooting for the Jags. I actually loved how everyone on Twitter was rooting for the Jags. Like, I saw an Eagles guy comment, he's like, Duval. Like, everybody was a Jags fan that night. And for good reason. This team has looked really bad. Like, the Jags have not been able to get things going for a while. You pay Trevor Lawrence a boatload of money, and now it's kind of paying off. Things are looking well. And I think obviously adjusting the Jaguars defense was a major problem, and now they've fixed that. Should the Chiefs start panicking? I'm wondering. If you're watching, drop it in the comments. What are your thoughts? I think the Chiefs are letting this season play out, as it feels like they always do, except this season they're not getting dealt a bunch of W's, right? They're going back to the locker room and strategizing, like, what is our problem? Why can't we win these games? What are we missing? And I think it's like a confusing thing, because they have the pieces to be obviously the Chiefs, who they are, but other teams have really done their research to figure out how to combat that, how to stop a Patrick Mahomes dish pass, like how to really stop him from going off, getting a big drive, especially hyping up his fans if it's a home game, right? Like, there's just so many things that Patrick Mahomes does well, and their running game does well, and their defense was one of the hardest ones to go against. So I think it's not like people cracked the code, but I do think for the Jaguars, they took advantage of a game at home. We all know when it goes to being at home and it's coming down to the wire, your fans are screaming their heads off. The liquor's hitting. They're feeling good. They want a W, especially against the Chiefs. And I feel like, I'm not going to say the Jags are contenders yet, but I think they're right on the cusp of becoming contenders. Like, they have built something through these first 5 weeks that we need to see if it's sustainable. I feel like this is the point of the season where teams kind of see the curve, and we need to see if that all of the hype for the month is sustainable. Can their defenses still contain strong offenses like they usually do? Is the offense still going to be explosive against difficult defenses like they can be, right? Like, are the quarterbacks continuing to make good decisions? All these things kind of come into play around this time, and you really see like what teams are shining. And the AFC is like, it's pretty ugly out there. Like, it's not that great. So the competition in the AFC is pretty limited. Like, there's like the top 5 teams, but the NFC is like anything can happen, right? Like, on any given Sunday, any team can take over another NFC team. So I definitely think that that's what the Jaguars, from this point on, that's definitely what I'm going to be looking out for, is like, how do they keep going? How do they keep this up? Okay. I really didn't think I could yap for 20 minutes, but I did that. I'm going to take a quick break and drink my green tea. So if you're tuning in, thanks. Be back in 30 seconds.
You are watching Team NBS Media. We are a digital media brand covering sports, entertainment, and lifestyle, with team members all across the country. Through our written content, podcasts, and video content, we bring you fresh and professional content. Interested in joining the team? Shoot us an email or DM. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Okay, welcome back. Thank you. I just need to sip on my green tea really quickly. My next story is literally breaking news. We've just heard about this within the last 2 hours, and I'm actually thrilled that it came on my For You page, whatever you want to call it, because this is piping hot tea. All right, hold on. Sorry for the sirens. Oh, wrong graphic. Bill Belichick. Breaking news, everyone. Breaking news. Let me put that on this banner. I don't know him like that, so I'll put his initial. All right. I'm producing the whole show myself, if you can't tell. Bill Belichick wants out of UNC, and the feeling is mutual. UNC wants Bill Belichick out. So let me read the tweet thread that I've gone through today so you can get an idea of what's going on. Let's turn the music down. All right. Bill Belichick has discussed buyout options with North Carolina's hierarchy. Belichick has signaled a willingness to trigger his own $1 million buyout if he can find a soft landing with another team or in media. Raise your hand if you saw this coming. I don't think he really wanted to be in college football. I really think he wanted to be with an NFL team. And nobody was calling. Nobody was looking for him. Like, everyone was like, we don't know what the culture is going to be like. You know, we've heard rumors of the Patriots, and also that team was stacked. So what was really the cause of that? Your stacked team or the coaching, right? Like, I really hate that argument. So I actually wish I never said that sentence. Obviously, it's a combination of the both. But back to Bill Belichick, I really don't think he was interested in coaching college football because we've all read, we've all seen people talk about the tremendous change it is to coach grown men, adults, and college kids, right? And UNC has not played very well. Like, they have had a very bad season. I'm sure the players are extremely frustrated, like game in and game out. They're getting blown out. You have this spectacular head coach with multiple, can't even fit them all on his hand, rings, and this is the outcome, right? Like, you're losing games. People in college football are not even talking about your team because there's other teams that are making changes and playing better football, to put it kindly. All right, the follow-up. Members of Belichick's coaching staff have already spoken to other schools that are expecting to be in the college football playoff about taking on roles during the postseason. From one coach, the Rats are leaving the ship. Some staffers believe a change will come within the next 2 weeks. So this is something we are going to keep our eyes on. Thank you, Julio. Raise your hand. We're on the same page. And I feel like everybody who watches college football saw this coming. Like, Bill Belichick, like I said, you're not winning games. This team is not doing well. It's not like I just said about the NFL, it's not like we're turning the curve here and UNC is getting better. They're actually staying the same, which is not very good. And next week, they actually head to Cal to face Cal Berkeley, who just lost a big game to Duke. So I think, like, everyone knows what Cal Berkeley's limits are. Their defense is amazing. The offense still needs to pick it up a little bit. But I think that's kind of the game that UNC can take to their advantage with Bill Belichick, or if he ends up leaving before then, whoever the interim coach will be, simply because the team has pieces to be good. But, like, is Bill Belichick the problem? I don't know. As the story unfolds, I will definitely be keeping up because I'm very interested to see where he lands and if it's within college football again or if it's within the media space. I don't really know where you see Bill Belichick landing except being a head coach or a part of a coaching staff for the NFL. I feel like that's where you see the most success for him. That's just my observation. Obviously, I'm not a coach. I'm just a girl talking about sports here. I'm just a girl yapping about the crazy ride that Bill Belichick and his girly pop has taken us on through UNC, being on the sideline. I mean, she literally, like, made herself that number one person, and then now everybody wants him gone, you know? Like, must be tough to be him. And also, from the one UNC defensive assistant, he said, quote, What we've done to these kids is is effed up, end quote. I'm not obviously going to swear. So it's very clear that the entire coaching staff for UNC is aware of how bad they are. Not even that. It's just, you can see there's like no chemistry, right? Like to score under 10 points, I don't know, in 2 games, that's tough. And you blow up a team. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like, sorry, I'm just reading their scores really quick. Definitely looks like the change in hierarchy is needed. All right, to close out the show, I'm going to talk about a positive thing because I had the amazing opportunity to cover the Valkyries in their inaugural season. And it was so much fun. Like, I can't even express to you how much fun WNBA is. And not just as a fan, but also as a media person, like, these players were so cool. They were so excited to be there. And they also just like made it so easy to talk to them, made it so easy to do a story on them or to, you know, talk about a bad game or talk about an amazing game. And I'm sure if you watch any WNBA coverage this season, you saw how much the Valkyries were highlighted and the Chase Center arena and the vibe and the people and like the fan, everything about it. Like, I seriously I had the best summer of my life because I was covering this team. And it's also accredited to NBS Media. So if you're looking to become a content creator, a writer, or whatever you want to be, this is where I got my break, was through this brand. So yeah, covering the Valkyries was all of the things I just explained, but also the chemistry that this team had to come out in their first season and just absolutely like believe in each other. It was like instant. When we first met everybody, you know, they were like kind of shy to talk to the media, right? Like Temi Fagbenley said, this was a team of 6 women that hadn't been given like a major spotlight in all the times, excluding Kayla Thornton, who was on the winning team for the Liberty. Like, a lot of these players were parts of teams, but they're not like being flagged down for interviews day in and day out, right? Like every day, all of us were like, oh, I want to talk to almost every single player. Like, how are you adjusting? What do you feel like is going well? Like, what do you guys do in your free time? I feel like we all made it a point to talk to every single player and hear about what they're liking so far with the team, what's working, what's not working. And of course, in the beginning, they were losing on the road, and at home, they were crushing people. So that was, of course, a question. And just the way that these players like all bonded together, it's kind of sad that they're not going to all maybe be together next year. I have no idea. But when we went to the exit interviews and we spoke to the GM and like the VP of ticketing, Jess, and just like listening to everybody, they were just, it like made sense. It almost felt, let me backtrack. In the beginning, after everyone was so positive or like so open to talk and just like they all leaned into each other in an interview or they accredited each other when something went well, like it was like as if the whole team was interviewing holding hands, right? And I was like, there's no way it's like this good, right? Like they're this happy. And then we went to the exit interviews and I saw the GM and Jess also relay like that same energy where they're just like, we're looking for people that are buying into what we're doing, or we were looking for players that were committed to like what this franchise was starting with. And, you know, just, they were just looking for like people at the end of the day. Like they kept saying like, we're looking for human beings at the end of the day that are committed to being good basketball players, but also like being good people. And I was like, this is insane. Like I've never seen a basketball team so happy before, right? Or like just like have this culture around happiness and around looking out for each other and just being a team player. I was just like, it was my first time being a beat writer, right? Like this was my first summer doing beat by myself, and I had never seen just like the positivity that existed within the Valkyries 1 and 2, like, yeah, just like how much they all cared about each other, right? Like when Kayla Thornton got injured, you could feel in the interviews how sad everybody was. Like they were like, we lost our number one girl. Like she went to All-Star, was celebrated for how amazing she's been, and then boom, like in practice, she's out, you know? And that was just like, you could see everybody's like, we're never replacing her. That's what they always repeated. Like, Kayla is not replaceable. We just need to figure out how to play without her. And then boom, Veronica Burton, she soared. She took over. She was electric. I mean, I can't even describe the shift that happened, because when I saw it, I was like, oh, Veronica knows. Wait, I'm going to pull up this graphic. I think it's just of Veronica. I was like, Veronica knows, like, she is the main player. Like, she is the point. She is that girl. Like, this is her time. And she took advantage of it. Look, she won most improved player, you know? So my whole spiel on the WNBA and the Valkyries are that women's sports are not even more than they're just so important. Like, they bring the game back to, like, being a fan and also covering people that have like love in their hearts. I feel like I'm getting mushy, but I'm telling you, when I was in that exit interview, I was like, everyone is so like, there's so much love in their hearts and in this circle. And I don't know if like I could properly convey that in like a write-up, because it was just so magical to be with that team day in and day out and talk about, you know, how much they accomplished together. So it's safe to say I'm very excited for basketball season for the WNBA to kick off in the summer, and also just see what happens with the draft, with the finals. Like there's obviously so many W things that happen, but really wanted to touch on covering the Valkyries, how amazing it was. And if you're given the opportunity to grind like I did, like I was like going to practice, going to games, figuring out everything, like doing a write-up in the morning, making content at night, and do like you name it, I was doing it all. So that's another part of the journey that we could talk about later in the Yappers. And just like that, I've talked for 30 minutes. Let me give myself a round of applause, because this was my first episode, in case you're just joining in. If you're not, you're probably watching the WNBA finals, and that is a good reason to miss out. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in for my first episode. We will be back, and this podcast is going to be a variety of things. It'll be just me yapping. I'm hoping to get some people in the industry on some interviews, like learn about them, learn about what it takes to be who they are, and also get some other girls that love football to talk about their teams and talk about what's going well, what's not going well. So this is just a shout out. If that sounds like you, follow me on my socials, DM me, let me know. I want this to be a collaborative yapping podcast. So until next time, I hope you all have a great evening. And thank you again for tuning in. Make sure you follow Team NBS Media everywhere you can.